crying little.
Yoga.
I believe that everything is coming out in the year of 2018. I think everybody is getting it this year. Because I do like beauty, I saw where a beauty vlogger, she was on a video, she was crying her eyes out because they pulled up some tweets about her talking about black people, saying negative things about black people in that tweet. Now we're coming over to the fake ass pro-black section, and this is why I particularly say that I am not pro-black. People will say, oh, pro-black means you're for black. Actually, to be pro-black, in my understanding, is to have certain standards. You and your family is black, your children is black, you keep it as black as possible. You know, people, they want to wear the label proudly, but they don't want to live by the rules, the laws, or the standards that go with it. They just want to do whatever they want to do. Because there are no standards and anybody can come into the pro-black sector and claim themselves as a leader, that's why I don't want that label on me, because it's tainted. This is something that I've been thinking about for a while. I have been noticing things coming out about certain people that I already knew, people that I had unsubscribed from a while ago. And certain things about them just rub me the wrong way. Things that they would say didn't sit right with me. It was shady. And when they would say they're for black people, the conversation always turned to their viewers, their subscribers, their commenters, and they would be wagging a finger at them, calling them stupid, calling them coons, calling them dumb, just degrading the people who donate to them, who watch them, who subscribe to them. And it was so weird to me how somebody could sit here and listen to another person, regardless of if they're black or regardless of if they've told them the truth, but just insult them like that. And then try and act like their words is written in stone and they know everything. But now these people are being exposed for who they are. I'm going to go down my list because personally, when I first came onto YouTube, which is over 10 years ago, basically I was just a viewer. I was watching makeup tutorials. I was watching how to do natural hair and all of that. And it was so much simpler then. It was better. I miss the old YouTube. YouTube has turned into another conglomerate corporation. It's, you know, when the money comes in, you know, that ruins everything. But that's when I started. But what happened was, because I was a black female, I started getting these recommends. And who was the first person that was recommended to me for me to click in their video and watch? Tommy Sotomayor. We all know that Tommy Sotomayor has sold his soul to get that money. He talks the way he talks, and he goes in and he says these evil, nasty things because he wants that money. And that's it, that's all. I'm not giving him a pass for the things that he's said and done. All I'm saying is anyone who looks at him can understand what he's doing and who he's pandering to and why he's doing it. Now, when I was introduced to Tommy Sotomayor, I would comment under his videos, "You're disgusting. How How could you say these things about your own people and try and make it seem like black people are the only one with certain issues or do certain things? I could understand if he was all inclusive in this society, but he wasn't. He was focusing on black people, and that's because the money bag, that's what they wanted to hear. That's what he gets paid to say and talk about, black people. And then as I went along, I was introduced to TARIQ NASHEED. Someone actually told me that I should check out Hidden Colors. I never bought it. I'm not going to buy it. I do not support that. I don't support him. He says these derogatory things about black women. He has a thing against black women, and I've heard too many videos of him cursing out another black man's wife. I've heard him saying, you know, biracial women are better that come out of a white vagina. He said some nasty stuff. And then now he's Mr. Blackity Black, pro-black, with a biracial woman and her white mother in his home. Really? But mama, I'm not just going to throw my money at somebody. I'm going to research them and see what they're all about. I'm going to dig and see if I can find anything. And so, you know, I found the colorist videos of him calling Tommy Sotomayor crispy. After that, I then saw the video of him, you know, disrespecting a black man's wife. And then I was introduced to Dr. Umar Johnson. And I never really got into anything that he was talking about, because when I first saw him, the very first video I ever saw him in, he reminded me of a preacher. And at that time, I was separating from the Christian church and Christianity and its doctrine completely. And it was just something about the way he talked, his mannerisms, and him standing there in front of the people, that just screamed preacher to me. And lo and behold, I get introduced to Phil Scott and the Advice Show. The way I was introduced to him is because he was in that same long list of black female bashers. The same list Tommy Sotomayor was in, the same list TARIQ NASHEED was in, and Dr. Umar, he wasn't really in that list. It's just he happened to pop up. But Phil Scott was in that list. He had Hyena Hood Rats. He had Ratchet Weekly videos. He had videos of black women fighting on World Star. He had a lot of things to say about black women. He even brought white women on to talk about, I guess, their preference for black men or dating black men. And he was in that lane. But I don't think a lot of people saw the video where Tommy Sotomayor called him out, and he called him a name. And it was like fat or something like that. He was calling him a name, and that's disrespectful as well. You don't have to resort to name calling to tell the truth. But he said that he was trying to do the same thing as him, that he was trying to build his platform like Tommy Sotomayor's. That's what Tommy called him out on. And they had it out in a video. I saw that video. But yes, he is one of those who like to talk about black women. He even said that he was so happy when he was off of child support for his child. And people are saying that his first wife is not even black, but the way he tells it, his first wife was black. At this point, you can't really believe him. I mean, he's said so many things. But that's how I was introduced to Phil. I was not introduced to the pro-blackity black newscasting. I saw the change from what he was doing to what he's doing now. I was there for all of that. I heard and saw all of that. And I believe that people can change. And what I noticed was it was a shift. It was a shift in people not wanting to hear about those videos anymore. You know, like the O'Shea Du Jacksons, the Minister Japs, and all of that. There's a sector of dusty Negroes who want that content, but it's less and less. And so I believe that Phil saw that change, so he decided to move in the direction that he is in now, which is swinging to the other side. He brought Crystal and Karis in on his show, and it was labeled, you know, Bedwench in the title. And he said that Crystal said that he could put it in there, and she's the one who suggested it, but he has used that language about, you know, what I noticed in his videos before I unsubscribed is that if there was a black man with a non-black woman, he would say, you know, the non-black woman is taking up for her man. He also said, as far as colorism, that, you know, black women, you need to be quiet because the black man is with a black woman. She's just really light-skinned or biracial, and if that's his preference, you need to be quiet, and almost like telling them to get on code and be down with black and just be quiet. If they want to mess with very light women, at least the woman is black, and just take the colorism. I almost fell out from that. And when it was a black female who had a non-black spouse or significant other, you know, he is quick to talk about black women and that's what you get, and why isn't your man speaking up on your behalf? He's seen non-black women speak up on behalf of their black men, and he would go in on the black women. So, and people would be like, why did you watch it? Because I knew this was coming. I saw what he was a long time ago, and then I saw the change, and then I saw all these people who were there for it, and I'm like, they are going to get disappointed one day. And the day came. I remember when the whole YouTube situation happened, and him and Lovely T and a few other people were, you know, pushing their subscribers to donate to them. They were saying, you know, how white people have people who donate to them, but when it's black people, we can't even give 1 red cent, seeing how black people hardly have any money and are struggling to survive, and, you know, at the bottom, but yet black people are supposed to, and then they shamed black people. You go out and buy weave, you go out and buy Nikes, you go out and buy this. Why can't you give $5 to my channel? It disgusted me. And other people, you know, talked about that, like, how can you shame people? If they want to buy those things, people work hard for their money. At the end of the day, it's their dollars, and they can spend it on whatever they want to. They don't have to give it to you. But he wanted 3,000 people to give $5. And he ended up getting 1,500 people to give $5. That in itself, just 1,500, which he hit that goal, that's $7,500 alone to the Patreon. Even if you want to leave it there, people are saying he's making $37,000 a month. And when I did the math, when he was asking for it, I'm like, wow, he's going to be making a lot of money if, you know, 3,000 people contribute to Patreon. And to me, I was like, it was about the money. He shut down his channel, and then he was going to start it up again to go in a direction where it was most lucrative, because he was asking certain questions. And whatever the people wanted to hear, that's what he was going to bring, and whatever was going to bring in the money. So basically, because I've been around longer, I know who these people were. I have seen their platforms evolved. I have seen how they have changed. I have seen how their language have changed. I have seen where they were relying on the support of Black people. Black people got them to a certain point. Then they jumped off, and then they, went in a different direction with it. And what I remember Phil saying about his wife is that she wasn't white. That's what he said. And I was under the impression that she was Latina. I knew she was Latina. The way he would put out stories concerning the Latin community. So I knew she was Spanish speaking. But I was under the impression that she was either mixed or supposed to be Afro-Latina. But she seems like she is a white Latina. From the pictures that are out there, from what I can see, and people are saying, she has a broad nose, she has these certain features and everything. There are white people with broad noses and certain features. She is less than 10% Black. That's less than the white man who learned he had 13% Black in his ancestry, but he was still a white man and nobody knew. And then they started making fun of him and leaving racist, remarks on his desk. She was less than even that, and she's more Native American, which that is a whole nother thing in itself. It's not a race. There's 3 races, Caucasoid, Negroid, and Mongoloid, but we all know at a certain point that white people were claiming to be Native American. They did, wipe out and rape the Native American women, and that's where you get that $5 Indian from, because they would get certain privileges. So you had white people who were calling themselves Native American. He put out her DNA. I mean, this is not a shock. This is not a surprise. If you listen to a little bit of his content, you don't even have to go way back to what I heard when he was calling Black women wild hyena hood rats and doing all the ratchet videos and all of that stuff. You don't even have to see that. Just in his current commentary, you can find out everything you need to know. And every one of his followers, all the Black men and Black women, they are on the same page as him. I saw a lot of them saying they weren't going to stop supporting him. They want to be fools. They can be fools. They can give their money. This is what Black people do. We're liquid money. We give our money away to foolishness. It's something that goes on even in my own family. I sit up here and look at this person buy foreign cars and homes, and I mean, that's money that you're using to send some non-Black person to an Ivy League college so they then can oppress your children. You can be investing in your own kids with that money. There are people coming off of money every month. That's money that they could be putting in a trust fund for their child, savings when they get older. What they're giving him. This is not okay. And it's the same thing as the church. But I'm going to get into that because I see exactly what this is. And I see why people are jumping on this wagon and why it's so lucrative. Then, once the news broke that his wife was not Black, a lot of the people, they expected certain people to speak out that he had on his platform who were presenting themselves as blackety black. Lisa Cabrera is one. I unsubscribed from her a long time ago because she said something concerning certain YouTubers when the second round of YouTube rules came down on some of the smaller channels, and it was different than when they were attacking bigger channels like her size. I wouldn't say that was huge, but bigger channels like her size, you know, it was tears, it was how can they do this? But when they talk about the smaller, they Phil himself, Lisa Cabrera, Lovely T, they were saying, you know, oh well, it was like an oh well situation. Fuck the little YouTubers that are trying to build their brand. You have to put in that work, you have to work hard. That was some real white supremacist rhetoric I heard when they were talking about, oh, you have to put in the work, you have to work hard, you know, as you know, when they were just crying for donations not so long ago, and then they didn't even have a heart for the smaller YouTubers. They didn't give a fuck, basically. And then the language that is coming out of the people who's been on his platform, I will say Crystalline Karasin came out. She knew, and she thought it was funny. She thought it was hilarious. But she did come out and say, you know, he was a hypocrite. And, you know, she put it out there. And then you have someone named Nyla Says. She was on his platform as well. And if you look through some of her videos, she talks about, you know, white women, and she talks about black issues. And then she did this video saying, I'm not your Negro attack dog about Phil's wife. So basically she is saying that she was on the platform, she doesn't care, she's not going to attack Phil and his wife, she's not going to attack swirlers, and she's not going to do any of that, right? Because he gave her an opportunity and exposed her to many more subscribers. So she's built her loyalty over there with him, and nobody is asking anyone to attack anyone. And that's what's so disheartening here. And someone else who said the same thing, they said the same thing, was Cynthia G. I unsubscribed from Cynthia G a long time ago, and it was concerning the young man who was killed in Greece. That was the last straw. I could not sit up here and believe that someone would say that they were happy that a black person died in their young years because they had white friends and they may have dated white women. That was disheartening to me because he was so young and he had so much life to live, and you never know who he would have been down the road in his life. And that's what is so interesting at this point, where she says she's not going to attack Phil. She's not going to say anything about Phil. She's just been on his platform. She was making it seem like everybody was trying to have her bash him, and she said that she was not going to bash him. And I just wanted to list those names because the subscribers to these people were not asking for them to bash. They were asking them to treat Phil Scott, someone that they had benefit off of being on his platform. They were asking them to treat him in the same manner as they would treat someone who they are reading an article about, or a celebrity, or who they see in the news. Because if you know and have watched Cynthia G, she is someone who is quote unquote against swirling. It is not good for the community. The majority of black men do it. And if you went through her videos, she talks about it with men and, you know, some women about swirling. So then you have Phil Scott, who made people think that his wife was Afro-Latina, and she looks like a white woman. So they were saying, okay, now I expect you to use that same passion and the same language as if the same way that you have used on other people, talking about other people in these same types of relationship, and use it to tell him how swirling is not good and how he lied to his followers. But she said she wasn't going to do that. She lied on her subscribers, saying that, you know, they just wanted a bashing video. They wanted her to attack him. She only attacks when someone attacks her, which is a lie. That was a blatant lie. And if you saw this video of her and Phil, she let it come out of her mouth that his wife is not white. That's what she said. Even though she said that she did not ever meet his wife, she took what he said to be as truth over what other people were saying, because it's the more beneficial and lucrative relationship. And she was going in on people who, I don't understand how people just listen to that. Like, you're being disrespected. You don't have to listen. Why would you allow someone to talk to you in that manner and to call you stupid and dumb? And it was just a lot. That's why I had to leave it alone. But now all of these people who swear they are against swirling, these people who talk about other people and their relationships, they won't say anything about Phil Scott and his relationship, even though his relationship is exactly like the relationships they talk down on. Because the relationship with Phil is lucrative and it puts them out there in the public eye. That's why they will not say a word. And you should side-eye these people. I'm not telling you what to do, but you should seriously side-eye these people. When you are delivering a message, regardless of if it's family, friend, or foe, that message should be the same across the board. It should apply to everyone across the board. And you see how they act when it's someone close to them or someone they know or someone they have business dealings with. They don't want to get in that muddy, murky water. They want to make excuses. They want to tiptoe and dance around it instead of calling it what it is. Which means the foundation is shaky. They don't believe in the message that they're giving out, and they're only doing it because it's lucrative to them. And I'm saying that about Cynthia G, and Nyla says it's lucrative to them, because there's been many other people who have come out and called it for what it is, and they were not disrespectful. They did not bash anybody, but they stood on their square. They stood on what they believe in. They do not like swirling. Some of them are pro-black, and they called it out for what it is. I'll say the Radical Home Goddess or Radical Home Sister, she called it out for what it is. She's also been on Phil Scott's program, The Advice Show, but because she believes in what she believes, she said her piece and she wasn't disrespectful about it at all. She stood on her square. There's very few people who can do that. You see who the snakes in the grass are. The ones who are twirling and twisting away from what it really is. They won't even stand on what they've been hurling at other people. If you notice, Phil Scott was even sounding like he was pushing, some of the ideas of Hebrew Israelites. Never once did he get cussed out for that, but actual other men and other commenters who are believers that they are black Hebrew Israelites got cussed out and blocked. It's that type of treatment, treating someone who is more lucrative for you differently than you would treat an ordinary person or your subscriber or a commenter. That's where people are seeing the hypocrisy in you. You talk all this shit about people in articles, stories and everything, if it's a family member or a friend, you should feel that same way, or I think you're fake. You're fake. Now everybody wants to band together and they want to band around Phil Scott because that lucrative relationship. What's interesting is Phil Scott and Stephon Clark are not different. They went in on Stephon Clark saying how black women didn't need to cape for him, protest for him, support him. You heard what happened. You heard the rhetoric about Stephon Clark. You know, he was bashing black women. Phil did the same. He had a non-black wife. Phil did the same. Black people don't have to be loyal to that. They ripped him a new asshole. Now they have on their Captain Save-A-Ho cape for their lucrative relationship. I find it very funny what's going on. I find it very exposing what's going on. And now you don't have any excuse. If you want to ride with this foolery, you can ride with it. It says something about you and your character. But there's plenty of people who have come out and say things in a respectful way, and they stay on message, they stay on their code, and I believe them because they haven't deviated from it, not even for a friend or a family member. But in conclusion, seeing all this go down just says to me that ever since black people started to leave religion alone and they started to leave the church, the Christian church, black people have been looking for something to believe in. That is how it has been looking to me for a very long time now. I've been hearing this hotep, this blackety black, pro-black talk. And then I saw all these people spring forth, even with the Hebrew Israelite thing. Then you have this person like Dr. Moonby who came out. So you have all these people, right, that come out and they're spreading this message and they have this certain speech. And then you're getting donations soon after you're being asked to donate, right? And you're donating. And just to clear it up, I've never donated to anyone. I've never donated to any of these people I speak of because, like I said, I pick up on things, I wait and look and watch. So that's why I'm not out of money from a con artist. But I do believe that a lot of people were putting money into these people because they wanted to believe in these people's messages. They wanted to believe in these people because they had left the church and there was nothing there for them. And I would say you don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater. You don't have to seek in these people a savior or someone to tell you the truth, because obviously they're not. They're willing to degrade you. They're willing to call you names. They disrespect you in their live chats. They disrespect you in the comment section. They disrespect you on the videos. It's embarrassing to me the way some of these people talk to you and engage with you. It's no different than going on a white supremacist platform and having them talk down to you. I can understand how people take that abuse, but like I said, that's what it's been looking to me. People ran to Phil Scott, people ran to Cynthia G, people are running to other people, trying to find someone that they can attach to and listen to and believe in a message because they've left the church and now they're left with nothing. I would say that you can leave the church. You don't have to go back to the church. You don't have to listen to the preacher. You do not have to go on these YouTube platforms by these people and be disrespected and talked about and denigrated. You get enough of that from the dominant society. You can find out truth for yourself. You can gain knowledge for yourself. You can sit down and read. You can sit down and, go to certain safe places. You can teach yourself to recognize a charlatan when you see one. You can also, start a YouTube channel yourself, or get into a group with a few people online or in your community, and you can share your experiences. Or if you want it to be Bible related, you can sit down and read the biblical text for yourself. You don't need a middleman between you and the Most High, if that's the route that you want to take, or if you just need some like-minded people to talk about. You don't have to take anybody's abuse and denigration of you and your people. You don't have to pay anyone. And I'm not against anyone getting money. If somebody's offering you something or you want to do it, you can pay them if you would like. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. But just seeing the content and seeing the denigration happen within some of these live chats and these conversations is like, that's what made me unsubscribe. I couldn't take it. It was so negative. I had to run away from the black side of YouTube every once in a while just to take a break from the negativity. And that's what it seems like. Black people are out here trying to find somebody after leaving the church. And my suggestion, because I'm a Bible believer, I would just say, get into the Word, form your own relationship with the Most High. You don't need a church, and you definitely don't need these scammers and these liars and these people who care nothing about you on here. You don't have to entertain them. But I'll go ahead and leave it right here. Let me know what you think about this whole entire situation with the advice show and some of the people who are strictly no swirling, but they can't bring themselves to comment on this situation. Go ahead and leave a comment, and I will see you in the next one.
But I wasn't